don't understand Him. For you to understand Him, that means you need to go higher in spirituality. And going higher in spirituality requires training. It requires training, part of which is muraqabah, muhasabah. So these are things that will grow you in spirituality. They are not things that are open. They are things that you do in secrets. There are training that comes in trainings that come in secrets. That if we have time, we are going to talk about them briefly. So we are here because we want to have better understanding about Allah. We want to have deeper knowledge about Allah. We want to understand how we worship Allah, so that we can be among those people that they worship Allah as if they see Allah. And that is why we are here. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the barakah of this assembly. And we also seek peace and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon the noblest prophets, upon the most important prophets, upon the most exalted prophets, upon the most important personality in the sight of Allah, and that is our holy Prophet Muhammad. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to bless him. In his statement, he made us know that Allah says in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha haqqa tuqatih wa la tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. That Allah says, O you believe, you need to be conscious of me, Allah. In the right way, in the appropriate way, such that when people see you, they are conscious of Allah. When you are alone, you are conscious of Allah. Wherever you are conscious of Allah. It is not that when you are in the midst of people that you show consciousness of Allah. Everywhere you are, you must demonstrate, exhibit the consciousness of Allah, which is piety, taqwa. And the reason the Holy Prophet Muhammad has explained further, saying that ittaqillaha haythuma kunta wa asbir sayyi'ata al-hasana. In the sense that whatever Allah has instructed you to do, you do. Whatever Allah has forbidden that you do, you avoid. The second statement comes because the Prophet recognizes that we are not perfect human beings. We are not perfect creatures. We are humans. We are meant to forget. We are bound to making mistakes. We are not free from committing sins. And because of that, the Prophet said, وَأَتِبِنْ سَيِّئَاتَ الْحَسَنَةِ. Anytime you do something that is sinful, anytime you do something that is wrong, anytime you make a mistake, you should endeavor to come up is something that is good because in spirituality you have Shaykhiat, you have Hasanat. And what will guarantee us paradise, what will make us achieve paradise, what will take us to Jannah is Hasanat. So, Shaykhiat are the wrong things that we do that are sinful, and we must endeavor as much as we can to endeavor everything that is said as either little or much. That is why Allah said, الذين يجتنبون كبائر الإثم والفواحش إلا اللمم إن الله هو واسع المغفرة. Allah says that those people that are important to Him, those people that are promised paradise, those people that will get salvation in the hereafter are those that الذين يجتنبون كبائر الإثم والفواحش إلا اللمم. They are those people that avoid, they stay away, they run away from major sins. They run away from major sins. والفواحش, and all those acts that are not worthy for us as Muslims. إلا اللمم, except sins that are avoidable, that are not avoidable, minor sins that are not avoidable. So, if Allah, and if that comes up, Allah has promised that He is rich in forgiveness. He is mighty in forgiveness. So, these are sayyi'at. Some of them are things that we cannot avoid, while some of them are things that we have control over them. For example, we are given alcohol. You are in a party, they serve you alcohol and they told you that this is alcohol. So these are things that you have control over. So you can always tell them that, oh, I'm a Muslim, I don't take this. But because you don't want to disappoint some people around you, you manage to take, even if it is small, then you've committed a sin. And things like that. So, for every simple thing, for example, it is a major sin for you to offend your parents, for you to disobey your parents is a major sin. But as children, in many cases, we disobey our parents. They ask us to do something and we won't do. So we disobey our parents in many cases. What is worse is for us to upset our parents and our parents become angry at us, and we didn't have opportunity of getting their forgiveness till they die. That one is a worst case, because we didn't get that salvation. Our salvation lies in the feet of our parents. Al-Jannatu tahta aqdamil ummahat. Paradise that we all seek lies in the feet of our mothers. And if you are unfortunate that you didn't get the blessings of your mother, you upset your parents and you didn't get their forgiveness till they die, that is a very big problem for you. But in other cases, anytime that we do things that are wrong, that we do things that are not good, that to do things that are sinful, we must do a follow-up with what you call hasanat. Hasanat are those good deeds. These are what Allah wants to see. Because all of us, we are going to have two scales, one on the left, one on the right. The left one is a depiction of our seminars, while the right one is a depiction of our hasanat. These are hasanat. Hasanat are good deeds. They are good deeds that we must do, that we must have. If we don't have them, no salvation. We are meant to be Muslims because we want salvation from Allah. We are worshipping because we want salvation from Allah. Everything we do as Muslims should be because of salvation. Because without salvation, then there is nothing for us. There is a verse in Surah Al-Kahf that I'm trying to remember. When Allah said, وَاضْرِبْ لَهُمْ مَثَلَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا كَمَاءٍ أَنزَلْنَاهُ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ فَاخْتَلَطَ بِهِ نَبَاتُ الْأَرْضِ فَأَصْبَحَ هَشِيمًا تَذْرُوهُ الرِّيَاحُ وَكَانَ اللَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ مُقْتَدِرًا. المال والبنون زينة الحياة الدنيا والباقيات الصالحات خير عند ربك ثوابا وخير عملا. So this verse is something we should be reading every day. It's something we should be reading every day that should be reminding us of how we should live. Al-Maru wal-Banun. These are two things that we all aspire. Materialism. And Allah said that Al-Mar, wealth, money, is under Al-Mar. Food is under Al-Mar. Cars, under Al-Mar. Houses, under Al-Mar. Clothes, under Al-Mar. Everything we want to achieve is Al-Mar. Lack of anything. All these things are Al-Mar. All those materialistic things that we want, they are Al-Mar. And that is why we keep having problems. Because we are after all this materialism. We want to have money. We want to have houses. We want to have cars, phones. Anything you can name. They all fall under Al-Mal. Especially money that everybody wants. And that is why there are many people, there is nothing they cannot do because of money. In fact, they can trade their fellow Muslims, all because of money. Al-Mal wal-Banun. The second one is that our children. We want to have children and we want them to be better than others. So all these things, wealth, money, materialism, children, we want our children to be better, we want them to have education, we want them to go to good schools, we want them to look good, we want them to have good job, to marry all the children, all the husbands. So these are things that will destroy our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah said, all these things, Zinatul Hayati Dunya, they are ordinary adornments of life. They cannot guarantee you paradise. They cannot guarantee you salvation. Surah Al-Kahf is chapter 18. Chapter 18. Yes. Chapter 18, 36. And the verse actually starts from verse 44. Where Allah said, هنالك الولاية لله الحق هو خير ثوابا وخير عملا واضرب لهم مثل الحياة الدنيا كماء أنزلناه من السماء chapter 18 from verse 44 also. Yes. From verse 44, chapter 18. هنالك الولاية لله الحق هو خير ثوابا وخير عملا واضرب لهم مثل الحياة الدنيا كماء أنزلناه من السماء. Allah says that we should understand the similitude of the life of this world. وَاضْرِبْ لَهُم مَّثَلَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا كَمَاءٍ أَنزَلْنَاهُ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ فَاخْتَلَطَ بِهِ نَبَاتُ الْأَرْضِ فَأَصْبَحَ هشيما تذروه الرياح وكان الله على كل شيء مقتدرا. المال والبنون زينة الحياة الدنيا والباقيات الصالحات خير عند ربك ثوابا وخير. That one now مثل الحياة الدنيا, we should understand the similitude of the life of this world. How is life that we all want to enjoy? How is life that we want to achieve its benefits? How is life that you want to remain daring and we don't want to live? Because when we ask, who wants to live this life? Who wants to die? Nobody wants to die. We want to remain living forever. Because once you say you want to die, that means you are fed up with life. So nobody wants to die. Even people that are worshiping Allah constantly, they don't want to die. Not to now talk about people that don't have any preparation. Most of us do not have any preparation. وَاضْرِبْ لَهُم مَّثَلَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيا. You should understand the similitude of the life of this world. كَمَاءٍ أَنزَلْنَاهُ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ. It is like water from rainfall pouring from the sky, from the cloud. فَاخْتَلَطَ بِهِ نَبَاتُ الْأَرْضِ. That now mixes with the vegetation on the surface of the earth. And what is the purpose of water mixing with the vegetation of the surface of the earth? The purpose is to allow germination. And germination is growth in plants. So when the water pours, then we start to germinate. فَأَصْبَحَ هَشِيمًا تَذْرُوهُ الرِّيَاحُ. And after germination, the plant will get to a certain stage, which is called the peak of germination. It cannot grow further. The stem will become weak, the roots will become weak. There will be flower again. the beauty will drop. The same thing with us. So the beauty we have now will not remain with us forever. If we look good now, in the next 20 years, we lose the beauty. So the plants will become weak, and suddenly there's a rohu riyah. The wind will come and blow up the plants. That is the similitude of the life of this world that will happen to every one of us. From when our parents meet, or when they met at the beginning, their meeting will lead to pregnancy. The water will come from the man. That is what Allah is saying. وَأَقِمُوا مَثَلَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا كَمَاءٍ أَنزَلْنَاهُ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ. The water comes from the sky, which is from the man, and comes from the vegetation. The woman is the vegetation. That is where fertilization is taking place. That is where implantation is taking place. That is where the development of the fetus is taking place. Until the child becomes fully developed and the woman will give birth. Then it will start growing from child to baby to up to adulthood. Then when you get to the age of 40 in Islam, it is assumed that you have attained the age of full responsibility. Then you continue to grow until you become Fa'asbaha Hashiman Tezruhuriya. You become old. The beauty will go again. The hair that was used to be black will become white or green. The strength that you have will go away. You used to run a lot before, you won't be able to run again. Everything that you used to do yourself before, you won't be able to do anything again. You will now need the support of people around. Even the eyes, the sight that used to be very sharp before won't be sharp again. And by that time, you would have seen all the signs. There won't be solution again. You won't be able to make up for all those things that you missed. The askar that they used to tell you to do, you won't remember very well again. You start losing consciousness. And this is why when we were small, when we were young, still in the madrasa, our sheikh, our imam then used to remind us that this is the time for you to acquire everything that will guarantee you salvation in the hereafter. When you are young, is the best time for you to work for your hereafter. That is the time you should do a lot of azkar. That is the time you should familiarize yourself with the Quran. The recitation of the Quran is ibadah. For every letter you read in the Quran is hasanat. Every nawafil that you do is hasanat. Every azkar that you do is hasanat. Unfortunately, we were still not together because then when we were very young, we had the opportunity of doing a lot of azkar. I remember then, at least every day I was finished one juzu. I used not to wait to Ramadan. I was finished one juzu every day. I had a lot of azkar I used to do, but people of today, they can't do that today. Because there is phone, there is Android, there is internet. Then there was no, the phone that we had, not the type of phone that we have today. So the distractions there were less. We had the time for ibadat. We have the time for memorization. That's why I need to look for Quran before I remember what I want to recite, because we memorize at the right time. So our parents used to tell us, our imams, and we used to have good imams there, not today that all of them are fighting themselves. So they used to tell us that was the right time for us to gather everything, equip ourselves, prepare for the hereafter. And they will remind us with a song that they want us to always remember that this is life, but this is what you must achieve. They will say life is a forever feeling. Ẹran tí ọjọ́ tẹ́ ò ní ìgbà pamọ́, ẹran tí ọjọ́ tẹ́ ó sùn tẹ́ ò ní. They will say, afọ́bà fílẹ̀ nílé ayé jẹ́, ẹ̀yìnwá ayé máa yà ẹ̀dá aráyé, ẹran tí ọjọ́ tẹ́ ò ní lè gbà pamọ́, ẹran tí ọjọ́ tẹ́ ó sùn tẹ́ ò ní. So first they want us to prepare for the hereafter. And the best preparation is that one that you do when nobody sees you. That is why we are looking at the topic, who are you? When no one is watching you. It is humans that are not watching you, but Allah Himself is watching you. And we said, worship can be valid or invalid. Our actions can be valid or invalid. They can be accepted or rejected. What we must focus on is on hasanat. That was why I reminded us that Allah said, Al-Malu wal-Banun Zinatul Hayat Dunya. All those things that we run after. We run after money, wealth, cars, homes, land, houses, clothing, businesses. There are things that will cause problems, that will deprive us of salvation. And then if you have children, we want our children to be in better position. We want them to go to the best school. We want them to look good. We want them to have the best opportunities. We don't want them to lack anything. Ghana said they are ordinary adornments of life that will not take us anywhere. وَالْبَاقِيَاتُ الصَّالِحَاتُ خَيْرٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ ثَوَابًا وَخَيْرٌ أَمَلًا. The best thing that we need to run after, that we need to prepare for, are the righteous deposits called al-Baqiyatu Salihat. And they are the hasanat that we are talking about. The good deeds. The good deeds. Now, going to muhasabah, self-assessment. We want to assess ourselves. How many good deeds have we done? How many good deeds have we done? Aside from observing salat. So observing salat is obligatory. So we must observe salat. We must observe salat. It is obligatory for us to observe salat. Salat is constant. But it is not only salat that we need to do. There are other things that we must perform as Muslims, that we must have as Muslims to fill up our asanas. So when you take away salat, what are other things that we are doing? Have you done charity? No. How many azkar have you done? 0. How far did you learn the Quran? 0.
So those are the Baqiyatu Salihat, especially azkar, because in spirituality, in developing your spiritual life, you cannot take away azkar. There are certain azkar that are recommended, and that is why in spirituality, when we talk about you worshiping Allah as if you can see Him, it is deeper than we assume. Because when we are worshiping Allah as if we can see Him, we know we are worshiping Him as if we can see Him. So, and there is a way all these things are evaluated, all these things are monitored. Because you get to the stage of manifestation, we get to the stage of unveiling. The stage of manifestation, of unveiling, these are spiritual stages that I do not want to explain here. Because they have to do with Allah revealing things to you. And that is when you know you are worshiping Allah as if you can see Him. There is a connection between you and Him. Allah will start giving you knowledge that has not to do with senses, that are not connected with senses. So, وَالْبَاقِيَاتُ الصَّالِحَاتُ خَيْرٌ عِندَ رَبِّكَ ثَوَابًا وَخَيْرٌ أَمَلًا. And we cannot deny the fact that the purpose of our creation in this life is for us to come and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why Allah said, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونِ مَا أُرِيدُ مِنْهُم مِّن رِّزْقٍ وَمَا أُرِيدُ أَن يُطْعِمُونِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الرَّزَّاقُ ذُو الْقُوَّةِ الْمَتِينُ. Allah says that He has not created man and jinn except for the purpose of worshiping Him. He doesn't need anything from us. We are the ones that need something from Him. If we decide not to worship Him again, it doesn't decrease anything in His majesty. And if we decide to continue to worship Him for the rest of our life, it doesn't increase anything in His majesty. We need Allah. Allah does not need us. So He said the purpose of our creation is for us to worship Him. He doesn't need anything from us. He doesn't ask us to feed Him. He doesn't ask us to give Him money. Whatever you spend in righteous cause, you are spending it for the benefit of your own self. And the last states clearly, Man amila salihan falinafsihi, wa man asaa fa'alayha. If you do good, it is your problem. If you don't do good, it's still your problem. Not the problem of Allah. You do good because He wants to compensate you. So Money and dollars for the hand of sin. If you do good, it's your own problem. It's for yourself, not for Allah. They are doing it because you want it to favor you. وَمَنْ أَسَاءَ فَعَلَيْهَا. And if you fail to do good, if you are doing bad things, you are still doing it for yourself because you want it to punish you. وَمَا رَبُّكَ بِظَلَّامٍ لِلْعَبِيدِ. Allah is not unjust for anybody. So the good deeds that we are doing will end up in hasanats. There are things that will take us to paradise. There are things that will earn us salvation. Inna Allah huwa razzaqu dhul quwwati matin. Then another thing that we must take so important is for us to build our taqwa. And taqwa is piety. It is to be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the sense that whatever Allah wants us to do, you have to do it by all means. Whatever He says that we should avoid, we must do away with all these things by all means. Either somebody is watching us or somebody is not watching us. Then another thing that will help us is sincerity, ikhlas. And what's the name of the class? It means absolute sincerity, doing things only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Coming to Micah floor for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not for the fear of you, assuming that if you don't come, people will think that you don't want to associate with Micah again. Or if you don't come, people will think that you are not so conscious. But you are coming because of a friend. If you are coming to Micah because of a friend, then there is no reward for that. That is not sincerity. If you are spending in the cause of Allah, because people know you are wealthy, and if you don't spend, they will think you are not a good Muslim, then there is no sincerity in that, no ikhlas. So everything we do in Islam, there must be ikhlas in it. If you want to help someone, there should be ikhlas. If you are going to the mosque, you want to pray, there should be a class. You are fasting, there should be a class. Anything you are doing, you are covering your head, there should be a class. There are two hadiths that I would like to call our attention to. The first one is when the Holy Prophet Muhammad was telling us about the Hisab. Because if you look at the word insan is a quadrilateral verb derived, not transcending to the next party. But when your good starts transcending to the next party, these are people that are not your children, that you don't even know. You are feeding people that you don't even know. You are paying house rents of other people. You are doing sadaqah related to you. Donating to Micah Cross or any other organization. literally, that is Ihsan. So when you do good to others, when you do good to other people, that's the meaning of Ihsan. And that hadith, the Prophet gave the definition of Ihsan that is unknown to the companions, that was unknown to the people. He gave a deeper interpretation of Ihsan. He gave an esoteric meaning of Ihsan. And that is why that definition is important. When Jibreel came to the Holy Prophet Muhammad and said, Ya Muhammad, and Ihsan. O Muhammad, inform me about Ihsan. What does it mean? The Prophet said that Ihsan an ta'budu Allaha ka'annaka tarahu, fa in lam takun tarahu fa innahu yarak. The Prophet said Ihsan is for you to worship Allah as if you can see, but if you cannot see Him, know that He sees you at all times. That is Ihsan. That is a definition that is different from what people used to know. So when you start worshiping Allah, you don't need anybody to remind you of Salat before you start going to pray. You don't need people to remind you of fasting before you start fasting. You don't need people to caution you before you start behaving well. Then you are part of this classified as Ihsan. And according to scholars of spirituality, they said the level of Ihsan is above the level of Iman. Because there is difference between a Muslim and a Mu'min, and there is difference between a Mu'min and a Muhsin. That's the beginner's level. Maybe primary school. So that is Muslim. So when we talk about Mu'min, then it's secondary school level. While Muslim is higher institution. So the level higher than the level of a Mu'min, while the level of a Mu'min is far higher than the Muslim. So the majority of Muslims, they are sitting in the first level. And as a Muslim, there is no assurance that you must end up in paradise. Because Imam al-Muslim yazidu wa yankus. At that stage, your level of faith will increase and also decrease. If you are in mosque, your level will increase. If you are in your level will decrease. The Muslim may end up in hellfire. But when you get to the level of a Muslim, hellfire is forbidden for you. So, the Holy Prophet Muhammad has Al-Ihsan an ta'budu Allaha ka'annaka tarahu. Ihsan is for you to worship Allah as if you can see Him. So when you are alone, nobody is monitoring you, nobody is seeing you. You need to maintain that high level of Iman. Avoid whatever that is sinful that you are avoiding in the open, in the public. Also avoid it in your private life. That is what Ihsan is telling us. And as I said, Ihsan is a level. When you get to that level, hellfire is forbidden for you. The level of Ihsan and the level of the Muhsinun and the Muttaqun, they are almost on the same level. The difference is just small. The difference is just small. But both levels are higher levels, and when you get there, the paradise is assured for you, while hellfire is forbidden for you. That is why we must strive to achieve that level. We must strive to attain that level of Ihsan. Allah says about the taqwa, the muttaqun, when He said, Alif Lam Mim, ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. Allah said that ذلك الكتاب, that book that we are talking about, that book that we have summarized with the chapter of Revelation, with the acronyms Alif Lam Mim, which is known as Silsilatul Nuzul, the chain of revelation, the chain of transmission of the Quran, that the scholars said the Ali represents Allah, who is the revealer of the Quran. The Lam represents Jibreel, who is the transmitter of the Quran, collecting it from Allah, and the Mim represents Muhammad. So the destination is Muhammad. So Ali from Allah to Lam Jibreel to Mim Muhammad, so which constitutes Silsilatul Tanzil, to that book, because you cannot, a pronoun must have an antecedent. So Zalika, don't begin the sentence with a pronoun. That pronoun must be referring to something. So when we say Zalika Kitab, which book? The one that was revealed through Allah to Jibreel, from Allah to Jibreel to Muhammad. La Rayba Fihi, there is no doubt in it. Huda, it is a guidance, living with the key, only for those people who are pious. Now who are the muttaqun? Who are the pious people? Alladhina yu'minuna bil-ghayb. They are those people who believe in the unseen. Allah is unseen. You can't see Him. Yet they believe affectionately in Allah. That's why they can't see Him. They follow all the instructions. They worship Him and they are not seeing Him. Alladhina yu'minuna bil-ghayb. They believe in Allah. They believe in the angels. They are not seeing them. You can't see them, yet we believe. We believe in the hereafter. Hereafter is among the unseen. We can't see it. They believe in Jannah. Nobody has seen Jannah. Nobody has seen paradise. We also believe in hell. Nobody has seen hell. So these are things that are abstract, that an ordinary person will deny. Why are you wasting your time? Say we should walk, we should do good because we want to enter paradise. Where is the paradise? You can't prove it. You can't show them that this is the paradise. But because we are Muslims, because of the faith, we believe that the paradise exists, even though nobody has seen the paradise. We believe that there is hell, even though nobody has seen the hell. So those people who have such belief Allah is talking about them. We believe in the Holy Prophet Muhammad. Even though some people had the opportunity to see the Holy Prophet Muhammad, we didn't have the opportunity to meet him. We didn't get the lessons as those people who saw him. Some people sat down with the Holy Prophet Muhammad. They interacted with the Holy Prophet Muhammad. They studied under the Holy Prophet Muhammad. They got the direct lessons of the Holy Prophet Muhammad. They watched him receiving revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the case is different in our own case. We didn't see him, we didn't see his children, we didn't see anybody associated with him. Yes, we believe in him. They told us there is paradise, we believe. They said there are angels, we believe. وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ. Aside from believing in the unseen, this muttaqun that we are talking about, وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ, they observe salat regularly. وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. I talk about two characteristics of the people of Iman, people of Taqwa. Their belief is unshaken in Allah, in the prophets, in the holy books, in everything under the unseen. Their salat is constant. They pray regularly. That is the second one. And the third one, وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. They are known for charity. These are people that have taken charitable acts as ibadah. That level most of us cannot reach. The best charitable person in this life was the Holy Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet will spend everything, it won't remain anything on charity. Can we try it? They have 1 million naira in account and there is no hope of another one coming. Can we spend everything on charity? We cannot do it. So it is hard for us to find such people in this life again that will spend everything that they have and they will have hope that before tomorrow morning another one will come. We can't give out everything that we have. Another person that got to that level was Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. When the Muslims were preparing for an expenditure and they needed to contribute, they needed to donate, Umar wanted to be the best. All his belongings, everything he had, all the money he had, Umar divided them into two. As much as they were. He gave half to his family members at home. While the remaining half, he took everything to the Holy Prophet Muhammad. And when he came, the Prophet asked him, "Dear Umar, what did you bring?" Umar was very happy to say that everything I had in this life, I divided into two. I've left one with my family, while the rest, take everything and use for this expenditure. The Holy Prophet Muhammad prayed for him. Umar was happy. Then Abu Bakr came. The Prophet did not ask Abu Bakr, what did you bring? The Holy Prophet Muhammad asked him, Abu Bakr, what did you give at home? Abu Bakr said, by Allah, everything I have in this life, I brought them. I did not leave anything at all. He gave everything in charity, in donation. Can we do that today? Impossible. The only time we can do that is that we know money is coming in tomorrow, they will pay salary tomorrow, and you have like maybe 200,000 in account. You can say, okay, Micah, take everything. Because you have hope that another one is coming tomorrow. There is fuel in your car, you don't need to buy fuel. There is fuel there that will take you home. So you give them all the remaining money in your account. There is car, you took the car home. The car is part of your property. So you don't build anything. When you compare yourself to these people, there are people that we cannot meet. Even me, I don't think I can do it. I can give you everything in my account because I don't even have more today. I can give you everything. But my car, I will take it to. So we cannot do it. The companions were like that. They will give everything. So those companions, Allah has clarified them, wasabiquna sabiqun. You cannot meet them. And that is why scholars are against that you insult the companion. So there are people that we should praise. But I don't think I've ever seen any sheikh, any afar, any imam that insulted the companion. Except for those people that we don't understand what they are saying. So if you now say the Shiites are insulting the companion, those ones, they have family issues. They have family issues that people, their definition of companion is different from our own definition of companion. So, according to the Shia, they have certified companions. So they have a different definition of companions. And they are still nursing grudges that they're supposed to have forgotten. So their theology is different. So that's why people that the Sunnis are seeing as companion, according to the Shia, they are not seeing it as companion. But in this Sunni Islam, our scholars are of the decision that those companions are people that we should honor. No, they fought themselves, they insulted themselves. But they said we should not look at that. In fact, they killed themselves. That we should not look at that. Whatever transpired between them, Allah will judge them. Yeah. But we should look at the model companions. The model companions are four: Abu Bakr, Umar, Usman, Ali. They didn't fight themselves. They didn't insult themselves. They didn't kill themselves. Other later companions were the ones fighting themselves. So, if you look at, that's why every time, if you read the life of these companions, it will lift you in spirituality. They are models for us to emulate, to exemplify their beautiful ways of life. There is a verse I'm trying to remember, and I hope I will remember it before the end of the lecture, which is coming up soon. Because it's been long I've talked like this, I've stopped talking. I don't go for lectures again, I've retired. I have retired, sir. Yeah, I've taken that decision not to be going for public speaking. Let me just be on my own. But because we cannot still go to Micah, I try to come. I want to have my private life now. Let me just be alone. The Holy Prophet Muhammad said, سبعة يظلهم الله تعالى يوم لا ظل إلا ظله. As I said, I've lost interest in public speaking. I don't want to be talking again. Let me just be and be helping people. The time I'm using to be talking, let me just be helping people. What do you need? Let me support you. Let me empower people. That is what I want to focus on now, not talking again. The Prophet said 7 people will be under the shade of Almighty Allah. يَوْمَ لَا زِلَّ إِلَّا زِلُّهُ. On the day that there will be no hope, there will be no shade except the shade of Allah. And this day will be the most terrifying day for everyone. It will be the most terrifying day for everyone. Because in the description, they said Allah will bring the sun near to us. Scientifically, it is true. Because the sun is a star. And there is something called supernova. Supernova is when a star comes to an end. The explosion is what is known as supernova. The star that we currently have now is a yellow star. And it will keep increasing in size. And one day, according to science, the star will increase, the sun will increase, it will be very big. That it will even be closer to the surface of the earth and other planets before the supernova will take place. So according to the hadith, the sun will be nearer to us. As of today, the sun is 96,000 miles, 96 million miles away from us. When you go to Sokoto, you know that you are enjoying the Lagos. When you go to Saudi Arabia, for those who have gone, you know that you are enjoying. Here you can decide not to put on slippers, not to put on shoes. You cannot try that over there. You feel the heat of the sun, but that is nothing compared to Allah, because the sun is still far away. But on this day, the sun will be closer to us, hotter than fire. Before they brought the fan, we saw I was suffering. It is the day of summer mercy. Everybody will need shade because of the heat of the sun. It is Jahannam before Jahannam. It is Nur before Jahannam. Jahannam is the ultimate fire, where all the sources of fire, when all the sources of fire will be combined together. That is what we call Jahannam. You know, we have different sources of fire. There is one for firewood, there is one for electric. So all the sources of fire will be brought together. And that day, everybody will be in need of shade. Then Allah said, Ya Mazila illa zilluhu. There won't be shade except the one from Allah that Allah will give what He has chosen. And there will be only 7 categories of people that will benefit from that shade. The first one is Imam Adil, a just leader. Now you don't really have to be Imam Adil, a just leader. Anyone just leader. It is difficult for you to get just leader. The one that I think is just is because he has money. Imam Adil. The second one وَشَابٌ نَشَأَ فِي عِبَادَةِ اللَّهِ, a young Muslim that has remained in worshiping Allah from childhood up to adulthood. He has always remained in the worship of Allah right from childhood. Up to adulthood, or even before he got to adult state, and he died. And he died. Such person will be in that category. وَرَجُلٌ الَّذِي قَلْبُهُ مُعَلَّقٌ فِي الْمَسَاجِدِ, and a man that spends all his life inside the mosque, worshiping Allah. If he goes to work, he still returns to the mosque. Now, social media doesn't even allow us to go to the mosque again. When we go to the mosque, we rush out. Juma is not interesting as it used to be before again. Then another thing that is always attached to the mosque. And there are two ways that it can be attached to the mosque. The first one is for you to always be in the mosque, to remember Allah and to observe your prayers. You don't miss prayers. You don't miss Juma. You don't miss Jama'ah prayers. So you are there. Even before the prayer is observed. Zuhr, the same thing. Asr, the same thing. Now for those of us working, Zuhr, forget. Asr, forget. Maghrib will be in traffic. Inside in traffic. But these people, they don't miss any congregational prayer. They observe their salat in community mosque. That they have what is known as Jama'ah. Not just 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Our mosques today are empty. Then the second way is for you to take the full responsibility of the maintenance and the development of the mosque. When they need anything, you are the one providing. You are providing, you are beautifying the mosque, ensuring that the mosque is looking good. The mosque does not lack anything. In addition to you also join them in worship. The fourth, Rajulani Alladani Tahabba Billah. Two Muslims, they love themselves only because of the sake of Allah. Whenever they are meeting, it's for the sake of Allah. As we are meeting here now, not do the world joining us on Zoom. Not those joining us on Zoom that they don't want to stress themselves. They are joining on Zoom drinking tea. All of us, we left our comforts, we left everything, we traveled here because we want to meet for the sake of Allah. That is the kind of meeting we are talking about. We are more than two now. We all came here because we want to meet for the sake of Allah. And when we are departing as well, we are departing for the sake of Almighty Allah. We do hope that we are meeting again. So that is number 4. Number 5. رجل دعته امرأة ذات منصب وجمال فقال إني أخاف الله. A man that was invited for free sexual activity that nobody will know, nobody will see, and he was able to defeat his lust. He was able to defeat the temptation despite the woman having money, promising him money, promising him wealth, promising him position, everything. He was able to reject and let her know that Inni Akhafullah, I'm scared of the punishment of Allah. I'm afraid of Allah. The 6th one, رجل تصدق بصدقة فأخفاها حتى لا تعلم شماله ما تنفق يمينه. A man that gave out sadaqah, charity. And we should not forget, giving out charity is something that is valuable in the sight of Allah, something that qualifies us as a believer. The Prophet is now explaining better. Somebody that gives out sadaqah, big one, and he gave out the donation and the charity in such a way that it didn't allow anyone to know. فَأَخْفَاهَا حَتَّى لَا تَعْلَمْ شِمَالُهُ مَا تُنْفِقُ يَمِينُهُ. He gave it out secretly, that even the right hand does not, even the left hand does not know what the right hand gives. He concealed the charity, and he didn't just do it once. He is used to doing that. He doesn't need to pray, he doesn't need to pray, he doesn't need to celebrate it. So people that are like that, they will be under the shade of Allah on the day of judgment. And the last one, رجل ذكر الله خاليا ففاضت عيناه. A man, a Muslim, who is alone, not in the midst of people, and he remembers Allah and uncontrollable in shedding tears. So we are not talking about those ones that they shed tears, they cry when they are leading salat. Not those ones. Not those ones. Because there are some brothers that have studied the Imam of Saudi Arabia, they've studied him, they can mimic him. That even when you get to the places where he shed tears, they are mimicking him to that stage also. They are not talking about those people, and they are not saying what they are doing is wrong. They are just talking about people that when you are alone and you remember Allah, you start shedding tears uncontrollably. They think about the possibility of ending up in Jannah. Have they done enough after self-evaluation? They think about how they will remain alone in the grave. People that have been enjoying comfort, fan, AC, window, light, everything. You will not die. They will not put you in the grave. The soul will now come back. So that theft that made them to put you in the grave, that this person is dead. After burying you, it will now come back. You now start having the feelings again. Nobody to call upon, nobody to check you. The prophet made us know that how we used to feel when we are alive is the same way we will feel when we are in the grave. Hunger will come, thirst will come. Hunger will come, there won't be water, there won't be food. That means you will continue to go on hungry for all the things we do. You continue to go tasty for all the things we do. You watch your body decomposing. You want to stand up, you won't be able to stand up. Everywhere will be dark. You won't be able to stretch yourself because they block you up. They describe grave as Baitukulizi Shari, that the grave is the house of everything bad that can happen to man. Everything bad that can happen to man. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni ìdúró mọ́nú ìhà tọ́dọ́mọ̀ owó ṣòwò bàbá wàsá ìlú sàlásì. So this is a place that everything chastisement, it is the headquarters of all chastisements. The only thing that is going to save you is your hasanah, which is salat. So you can develop that level of salat, not just praying anyhow, you pray correctly, because people pray anyhow also. You pray correctly at the right time. Salat that is valid, not invalid, that will be accepted, not rejected. Because I said at the beginning of the lecture, the first thing I said was that Allah has enabled us to worship Him. And for us to be able to worship Him correctly, we must know Him, we must recognize Him. Because if you don't know how to worship Allah, then you won't worship Allah in the correct way. So you worship Him in the correct way so that it will be accepted. So if you perform salat and your salat is accepted, awwal ma yuhasabu bihi al-abdu yawm al-qiyamah, that will be inquired of, that you are going to be evaluated for, is your salat. Is your salat. And you know that you can also pray salat, you pray it correctly, and it will still be rejected. That is if your deeds are bad. You have bad character, bad behavior, it will affect the validity of your salat. When they start telling you, Abori, Mabua, it's not a good statement. So you need to prove it that you Abori and you have a good character. So if you are bad, you are a bad person, you know you to be a bad person, and you are always going to the mosque, then you are deceiving yourself. Because inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar. Salat is supposed to make you avoid everything that is bad. So you are praying, you are observing Salat regularly, but you are still the leader of parties. You don't need too much evaluation, you don't need too much assessment. It is evidence that you are just deceiving yourself. That Salat is invalid. Even if you are reciting the whole Quran in one Salat. So you need to learn about Islam. Knowledge is very important. Allah will not listen to your ignorance. I didn't go to madrasa, that's why I don't know this. No, that's not excuse. You need to learn. And that is what Micah 4 is all about. Giving you a platform to learn. Giving you the link to learn. Then develop good character. And if you do this, Allah in His infinite mercy will grant you that salvation that you want. Because what the Holy Prophet Muhammad has come is salvation. We pray that us better Muslims than we have today. We pray that may He continue to elevate us in faith and spirituality, and may He count us among the inhabitants of Subhana Rabbika Rabbil Izzati Amma Yasifun wa Salamun Ala Al-Mursalin Walhamdulillah. This debate said allow question and answer. So there is a question and I have answered the question.
Alhamdulillah, giving us the opportunity to gather here and listen to this so uplifting and enlightening session. We pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to bless our church. We pray Allah continue to increase in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And we pray Allah continue to preserve for us. Pray He preserves each and every one of us and strengthens our feet in the path of Islam. Just as the topic that we discussed, who are you when no one is watching? So this is really a timeless question that has been since the beginning of Islam to today, and will always continue to be. So it is an opportunity for us to reflect, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to record all of what we are doing in our private life and to put it on the screen, where the things we are going to be pleased with or the things we are going to be ashamed of. So this is an opportunity for us to reflect and for us to start putting into practice things that in our daily lives, how we can better that aspect of ourselves. So I'm delighted with that, and we have any questions and answers, so let's simplify. From the sisters, do we have any questions?
So you were talking about but my question is around sin. So my question is since that so like you already answered like a few questions like having class and the sun. So this question goes like this. What are the practical ways? What are the practical ways to deal with sins?
Somebody for every delivered subject. So I have two questions. The first one, you mentioned one of is the just leader. Now this leadership is just a because public leadership, or even leadership as basic as leadership in the whole? Does it capture that too, or that's irrelevant? That's my first question. The second question is a little bit delicate. I hope I ask it right. So it's on. Okay, let me put it this way in context. Until I was 25 years old, I did not know that there was such a thing as sects in Islam. Had no idea, thought it was all the same. But when I visited other countries and I saw that they do some things very differently, I began to ask questions. So, what's your position, standard position, the generally accepted position on the subject of non-canon? We know that most of the concepts of non-canon are Quranic verses. You know, just recited with special quotes. However, it's not in line with the Sunnah and practices of the prophets and his companions. The funny thing is when you try those formulas, they work. So that's the aspect. You try those things out and they work. And you know that they are from the world. So what's the standard position on this? Second question.
So we take this. Sorry, I want to answer the question of non-canon first. Okay. Well, let me first state what non-canon means. So, non-canon, it is an Arabic word, as I am not pronouncing well. So, it actually means naqlu. Naqlu. Yes, so naqlu is needed. And in spirituality, what do we mean by something that is translated? There are two ways. There is what they call awrad. But most of them are awrad. But awrad has slightly different definition. But generally, naqlu means any azkar, any dua that is translated. So what do we now mean by translation? I was talking about Ihsan earlier, but I didn't want to go deep. I said Ihsan is a spiritual stage. It is esoteric because the prophets, when asked, he did not give the actual general meaning of Ihsan. As I said, Ihsan is a triliteral verb derived from Ihsan is a quadrilateral verb derived from the triliteral verb hasana or hasuna. That's the verbal noun is hasanat. Hasanat singular, hasanat plural, which is good. So it can be doing good, but it is not transcending. So when that good can transcend to the second party and the third party, it becomes Ihsan. So, for example, this sister needs school fees, and I give her maybe 100 naira. Because I'm not telling anything. Just give her what she needs. That is Ihsan in the literal sense. And things that I do to assist people like that are under Ihsan. So the prophet did not describe Ihsan, but he gave a definition that is spiritual, that is deeper, that is unknown. He said, Ihsan and ta'budu Allah is for you to worship Allah as if you can see Him. That is Ihsan. Then in spirituality, Ihsan is a spiritual level that you can get to if you are on that spiritual exercise. And when you get to that stage, it starts with what is known as Aruya Sodom. So what is ru'ya sadiqa? That is vision. So when we start seeing vision as a result of your ibadats, your azkar, you start seeing vision, you are getting to a certain level of spirituality. So after ru'ya sadiqa, the next stage is the stage of tajalliyat. So tajalliyat means spiritual manifestation. Spiritual manifestation. It is difficult to describe now because phones can do many things. And after tajalliyat, one of those people that demonstrated tajalliyat the most was Imam Abu Hanifa. Imam Abu Hanifa was so blessed with tajalliyat that when you are making ablution, Imam Abu Hanifa will tell you that the Prophet said when a Muslim is making ablution, his sins are dropping off with the water. Abu Hanifa will tell you that the sin, what you did on these dates at this time, was what Allah has just taken off from you from the ablution. That is the level of spirituality that Gandhi and our family. Another one. If you read there is one Fadail al-Amal. Fadail al-Amal, when I finished secondary school, before I proceeded to any other thing, I was reading Fadail al-Amal body to body. As I was reading Quran back to front, I was reading translated Quran back to front, all the hadiths in there, I read everything. I was reading like somebody prepared for jam. I did the same thing to Fadail al-Amal. There is a place in Fadail al-Amal where there was under Fadail al-Musharrafa. We are talking about the virtues of La ilaha illallah. There, the now narrated an incident. We are talking about the benefit of 70,000 La ilaha illallah if you do it. They said, if somebody dies, and in our spiritual world, we that we are into Sufism. When somebody dies, what they action is the recitation of La ilaha illallah 70,000 times. Because there is a hadith that says that if a person dies, a Muslim dies, and he did 70,000 La ilaha illallah for him, that person will not experience the punishment of the grave. So they are now discussing it. So in that passage, it was written that they were discussing that hadith. They now brought the incident of a young Muslim who was blessed with tajalliyat. I've already said that after we are Sadiqa is tajalliyat. And we are Sadiqa is true dreams, vision. Something that can happen to all of us from the same thing and to happen the same way. So they were talking about that young Muslim. Then the Sheikh they wanted to confirm if that young man was actually blessed with tajalliyat. So the young man was crying that Allah revealed to him that his mother was being tortured after. So there was one sheikh that was known for ibadat, known as a wali. That sheikh now did La ilaha illallah 70,000 for the mother of that young Muslim. And he told the people around him, do La ilaha illallah 70,000 for the mother, and we will see if that boy is actually blessed with a yet. When he finished, they saw the boy coming again, smiling. What happened? The young man said that somebody did La ilaha illallah who served as a nurse, and it rescued the mother from the punishment of the grave. So it is written there. That's an example. I've taught the world of the Imam Abu Hanifa. The higher stage is what is known as Kashf, the unveiling stage, spiritual unveiling. Spiritual unveiling, in that world, you may be seated, seated again, and you see things that are happening, just like you are watching live video. Then there was no live video there. An example, Umar ibn Khattab, during his time as the Caliph, he sent some soldiers to war. They were on battlefield, and Umar was delivering khutbah on a Friday. Those people they went for the battle very far away. And as Umar was delivering the khutbah, he saw that those two Muslim soldiers were about to be defeated. Now, Juju was Syria. Umar was delivering khutbah, and the day came. Umar said immediately, Ya Sariya al-Jabal, Ya Sariya al-Jabal, Sariya, you people should change direction. Go through the mountain and face those people. Sariya, that was leading the battle in far away Maiduguri, had Umar. He had Umar. And he led those troops, those soldiers. He led them, he followed the instruction of Umar, and he defeated those enemies. After the khutbah, went to Umar that Umar, Syria is not around. It's far away. Syria telling you to go through the mountain and attack the enemies. When Syria came back, he said he heard the voice of Umar instructing him to go to the mountain, and he followed the instruction and he defeated the enemies. That is Kashf. And there is a prayer that we know as called Munajat. And that's Munajat Dua is a prayer for release as a song. When they were talking about, because in spirituality, when I talk about spirituality, I'm referring to Sufism. We talk about, we study the Awliya, and there is a consensus that those people that occupy the highest stage of Wilaya, known as Awliya, they are the first four companions. They are the highest rank of Wilaya. Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman. So when we are talking about Umar, we start with وَأَمِي خَمْسٍ وَكَرَّةٍ يَعْبِهِمْ وَبِآلِهِمْ أَجْلِ بِالنَّصْرِ وَالْفَرْجِ وبيحس وكرامته في قصة سارية الخلد يا رب بهم وبآلهم أدخل النصر وبالفرج. It is long dua. Ó lè nígbà tá a máa ń kà tí nǹkan bá ti di tá a máa ń kà ọlọ́run á lè ṣe. His name is tested and trusted. So that means there are times àwọn tí wọ́n ti sin lọ́run dé level kan, or people that have been blessed with dua. Don't ṣe rọ o. Àdúrà tó bá fún yàn when they give you certain dua, àdúrà náà is that is translation, that is not giving. So what I mean that dua that they give you is what they call normal dua. I will give you one. Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel is a powerful dua, and it has a code. There are two codes. There is one of 450, only as a man, and there is one of 1,050. That's what a man can. So getting things. So it came to what it is. They gave us. So that kind of dua is what they call non-canon. Another one, somebody that is looking for child. That the Samisu has said that this person is not 5 but they don't know why the person is not conceiving. Rabbi habli min as-salihin 319 lọ́mà fún ẹni àwọn afọ́wà jẹ́rọ fún wọn láàrin oṣù mẹ́ta ẹ̀yà máa lọ tó bá dàgbà máa lọ ọkùnrin tó máa bí àgbégbé oṣù mẹ́rin tó lè rẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ní àlọ́sí ìgbọ́ lè gé bọ́sùn that is not that. Any dua that involves shirk is not non-cardio. Shirk is shirk. But if it is normal as God, Quranic verse, prophetic dua, okay, do it this time as so that's what we do as non-cardio. Anything that involves shirk, we don't do it as non-cardio. We are not talking about the Babalawa. What they are doing is not, you cannot manage. Shirk is shirk. But if it's just ordinary dua, as God like this, that is what we know as non-canon. So I think I've answered that question, guys. So when you get it, it's non-canon. That's why I said let me quickly answer now before I forget.
Okay. So.
Assalamualaikum. My question is, can you differentiate between level of knowing and level of knowing? I want to understand.
I didn't hear a question.
Can we help us differentiate between the level of sleep and movement?
We've said that before. A Muslim is that person that has not attained the full level of Iman. Yes, I think it's just somebody that has accepted Islam, goes to the mosque, but one problem comes, can still go to church. When problem comes, they can still go and see one Baba. So he doesn't believe that when challenges come, the challenges are from Allah. He still looks for solution from other than Allah. And many of us are still like that. The people that when problem comes, they know that this is from Allah. They believe in that it is just from Allah. So mostly I therefore people know that because in spirituality the soul is classified into 7. We have an-nafs al-ammarah, the soul. That's the category of the kufar. Then after that, nafs al-lawwama. So if you are in the level of nafs al-lawwama, that is Muslim. Nafs al-mulhima, your soul is rising. You will be getting knowledge. You will be getting inspiration. You will be getting guidance from Allah. So you are already living the stage of Nafsul Awam. So Nafsul Awam is Muslim. Nafsul Mulhima, spirituality is high, Iman. And when you are a mu'min, according to scholars, you don't experience hell. You don't experience hell. You have passed that stage of something still qualifying you for hellfire. But a Muslim can still be in hell and spend some time, then you will not forgive him. So that's that. So the spirituality is high. Alladina amanu wa kanu yattaqun. For you to know that Iman, when you are in the level of Iman, level of Ihsan, the level of Muttaqun, paradise is sure for you, hellfire is forbidden. Alladina amanu wa kanu yattaqun. Those people that have attained the level of Iman and Taqwa, they are now Muttaqun. لهم البشرى في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة. For them is glad tidings right from this world and in the hereafter, and that glad tidings is paradise, is salvation. لا تبديل لكلمات الله ذلك هو الفوز العظيم. That is the best recompense that you can get. So as it goes on. So that's the simplest difference.
First question was how do we do private sins?
Okay, if you want to do the sins, the best way is to avoid the sins. And the sins is secret. Most sins should be in secret before. We have major sins, we have minor sins. Major sins can be in secret and it can be in public. Minor sins can also be in secret and it can be in public. Okay, anything to avoid and don't go out to the sin again. So when you committed sins, there are some sins that, for example, you stole and you know that you stole it from this person. You don't do istighfar for that. You need to return the car first. If you sold it, and buy another one and return. Then after that you can now do istighfar. So if you do the istighfar so well, then you avoid such acts. So avoiding the act is how to avoid sin. Then any sin that you committed, make sure you seek Allah's forgiveness upon that sin.
So my question is, have you have Sahih shown that so I want to know what makes it strong, what makes it Sahih worship?
Okay, in the science of Hadith, there is what is called criticism of Hadith. There are so many reasons for the classification of Hadith. Hadiths are classified into 4. We have Hadith Sahih. These are sound Hadiths. They are sound Hadiths because the chain, every Hadith has a chain and text. So the chain is free from fault. There is no fault in the chain. We can easily trace them to the Holy Prophet Muhammad. And we know all the people in that chain of transmission. For example, the hadith is written down, and in the chain, maybe you have Abdullah ibn Umar. You now wrote Umar ibn Abdullah. If there is a mistake in the arrangement of the name, the hadith becomes weak. To be classified as weak hadith, even though the text is authentic. If there is missing, because every hadith must link to the Holy Prophet Muhammad. There is a companion known to always be with the Holy Prophet Muhammad. There is another person, but that another person does not have any link with that companion. As at the time that companion died, this person was not born. If they arrange such hadith, it means that there's supposed to be somebody between that person and that companion. So they omitted somebody. So no matter how authentic the text is, the hadith will be classified as weak. There is somebody that is unknown in the chain of transmission. You don't know this person. That hadith will be classified as weak. So that is in terms of chain of transmission. In terms of text, mostly hadiths are classified weak because of the chain. If you have hadith, text of hadith contradicts the verse of the Quran, the hadith will be classified as fabricated, and sometimes the rejected hadith. So I said there are 4 classifications: the sound hadith, which is hadith sahih. Then we have the fair hadith, which is hadith hasan. So hasan is fair in the sense that there is one original hadith that is weak, and there is a similar hadith context that is sound, narrating the same thing. So that one that has no fault will be sahih, while this one that has been corroborated with this sound hadith will be classified as hasan. Then weak hadith is hadith da'if, hadith that is da'if. And there are so many. For example, Talab al-Ilm Faridatun ala kulli Muslim is a weak hadith, but we use it as a plan. Allahumma ij'alni min at-tawwabin waj'alni min al-mutatahhirin waj'alni min ibadika as-salihin is a weak hadith, but we use it as a plan. Maybe because of the fault in the chain of transmission. So there are so many hadiths that are weak. It doesn't mean that they cannot be used. So hadithun da'if yusta'malu fil ibadat. Yes, yusta'malu fil ibadat. So you use them, maybe the hadith is calling towards right and follow. But when you want to give a legal decision, you don't use big hadith. The 4th hadith is a fabricated hadith. Hadith is result of a particular reason. For example, most hadith that is glorifying plants, that is glorifying maybe about Sauda and all those things, talking about prophetic medicine. So many of those hadiths are fabricated. Because people that wanted to sell their agricultural products, they are advocating this in the name of the prophet to market their products. You can go and find out. So, and so many cases of fabricated hadiths. So, scholars also classify some hadiths as rejected hadiths. For example, hadith that is talking about that is exaggerating about something. One of such hadith that talks about the height of Prophet Adam. I said Prophet Adam was very tall. That is rejected. Because if Prophet Adam was very tall, descendants are not godly. So you can read about the rejected hadith to get more information. There are things that are discussed in the class. You cannot explain them here. So, but that's essentially what it is all about.
Still have some social okay, I think the answer is clear. There was a thing you asked the first leadership.
Okay, so leadership, Imam Adil, a just leader, not necessarily out to people, and leadership starts from inside the house. Leadership starts from inside the house. But according to that hadith, the leader that the prophet referred to is the leader of the nation, like the president says. The leader of the nation who is also a Muslim. So if you are just, then Allah, because when you get to that position, justice will be difficult. It's not that you are a friend, you commit crime at the airport, and they use the power to pardon you and give it to you and balance everything. That is not the kind of thing that can happen. Leadership that, irrespective of your connection or your influence, will always maintain justice. So that is what we call leadership. So a just leader, leaders that are like that. Leaders that are like that will stand against oppression. Even if it involves, even if their own children commit crime, they won't pardon them. That was why the prophet said that even if my daughter Fatima commits the crime of theft, they will cut off her hand. So how many people can do that one today? So that is the kind of justice that the prophet was talking about.
Okay.
And that is justice.
Now, so we have a question. So one of the questions says that for someone who is a person that is the father, is the father, so that God sees and then the person, because there's a person, so the person used to dream. So but when he or the dreams he forgets to dream. So there are sometimes says she behaves spiritual. So
I don't know about that one. So maybe the person needs to see the very good counselor. Or counsel him or her. So I can't answer that question. I don't have the knowledge to answer the question.
So I think the last question. I don't know how to answer this question because I don't understand it fully.
I think that's
There needs to be more context. It's not a kind of question. So I think the last question was someone was asking, you are going to be Sunni, Salafi. There are women in hearing about say that Sunni, Sufi, Salafi, that don't understand what all about this. What does it mean? What's the difference? Are they all Muslims?
That's maybe Michael was also opportunity to talk about certain Islam. So you have the Mu'tazila, you have the Ash'ariyya, you have the Qadariyya, you have the Jabariyya. So some are not in existence today, some are still in existence. So if we are talking about political sects, there are two political sects, the Sunni and the Shia. They are political sects. So politics brought about Sunni. The Prophet did not live anything as Sunni, the Prophet did not live anything as Shia. So Sunni came up during the time of civil war between Muawiyah and Ali. When Ali was appointed as the new Caliph, Muawiyah said he would not surrender to the leadership of Ali. So all those people that were in support of Muawiyah, their slogan was calling for Sunnism. So they are classified as Sunnis. While those people that were supporters of Ali were known as Shia to Ali. Shia is party of Ali. So you have party of Ali and you have party of Muawiyah. So the party of Muawiyah led to what is known as Sunni because they were calling, in fact, I remember Professor Akitola taught us that Islamic studies then. Because after my medical biochemistry, I still went to do Islamic studies. Up to I'm having my PhD currently in Islamic studies. So, in fact, they were fabricating hadiths because hadiths then was referred to as sunnah. They were fabricating hadiths which was sunnah to justify their acts in the party of Muawiyah. So their slogan was more of Sunni and they had no Jama'ah. So Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah came up. So the party of Ali was known as Shia to Ali. So those ones believe that Ali was oppressed. Their belief, their support for Ali later gave rise to theological ideology, just like the Sunni also developed into theological ideology. So Sunni, the Prophet did not lead Sunni, he did not lead Shia. It was civil war that led to Sunni and Shia. So it became worse that all those people that the party of Ali suspected to be working for Muawiyah, they rejected their hadiths. Because Muawiyah later came out giving money to win the interest of the people, to blind people. And it is written that at the beginning, Ali was a poor man, but his people loved him. Muawiyah had been in leadership. He worked for Usman. Muawiyah worked for Usman, and the period of Usman, the era of Usman, was regarded as the most corrupt era. Most corrupt era that even the leader promoted corruption. Even though they all agree that Usman was the God-fearing person. What did he do? When he became the Caliph, the members of his family, he was putting them in positions of leadership. He didn't think about other people. And we should remember that the household of Usman and the household of the Holy Prophet Muhammad were never friends, even before the arrival of the Holy Prophet Muhammad. So Muhammad was from Banu Hashim, while Usman was from Banu Umayyah. So they believe that okay, Abdul Muttalib ruled for a long time. All of them were under the leadership of Abdul Muttalib. Then after the death of Abdul Muttalib, Abu Talib was the leader, still in the household of Banu Hashim. Then later the prophet came, ruled for many years. Leadership was still in the household of Banu Hashim. How would they get that power again? The prophet had died. It was worse that, according to history, they didn't want anybody from that Banu Hashim to be a leader, to be the leader again. And it was believed that was one of the reasons they dropped Ali. Well, Umar nominated Usman and some others. Usman became the leader, the first Banu Umayyah after Umar, after Banu Hashim has ruled for many years. So when he got to that power, according to history, he was putting his family members in leadership positions. One of them was Muawiyah, who was the governor of Syria. Then people were reporting to Usman that your family members that you put in position that are leaders, they are committing atrocities. The corruption was massive. Usman did not do anything. The one he put in Egypt was tormenting the people, and delegation from Egypt came to report the person he put in Egypt to Usman. Okay. Usman said no problem. They left. He said they should go back to Egypt. On their way to Egypt, they noticed that somebody was following them right from the palace of Usman. They decided to ambush that person. They ambushed him, they searched him, and they found a letter. According to history, I didn't write it. And it is not Shia history. This is true history. They found a letter on him. The letter, it was written in the letter that these two people, written to the governor of Egypt, that these two people have come to report you of corruption. When they get back to you, execute them. Execute them, you know what I mean now, kill them. So they found the letter, and out of annoyance, they mobilized, they reinforced, and went back to the palace of Usman. They saw him reciting the Quran. They said, you reciting the Quran, and you call yourself a man of God, instructing the governor of Egypt to kill us, to execute us. They decided to kill Usman. His wife, Naila, tried to block Usman so that they won't kill him. They cut off her hand, and eventually they massacred Usman. They killed him. That's why the Quran. So that was what led. Okay, after they killed him, it was Muslims that killed Usman, and they said they were reporting cases to him. He did not do anything. Ali was supposed to be made the caliph before Usman, because Abu Bakr's case, no problem. Umar imposed Abu Bakr on the Muslims for his own better decision. Because when he got there, when Umar, after the death of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, the people of Medina, they were already arranging who will become the leader. That they invited the Prophet to come and be the leader, and the Prophet is no more, it is our land. So when Umar got there, he said, which meeting are you doing? Suspend everything. And it over be done Command Abu Bakr. So he announced that Abu Bakr is the leader of the Muslims in position. I'm not sure. In position. So he imposed Abu Bakr upon them and said, whoever that fails to do bay'ah, to pledge and accept the leadership of Abu Bakr to be executed. So all of them accepted Abu Bakr. Some of the family members of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, including Fatima, were upset with that decision, that they wanted to appoint a leader and they didn't consult any member of the family of the Holy Prophet Muhammad. So, some of them did not agree to the leadership of Abu Bakr, especially Fatima. Some people believe that Ali was supposed to be the successor. Long story. Okay, Ali eventually accepted after the death of Fatima. Because Fatima died 6 months after the death of the Holy Prophet. So after the death of Fatima, Ali reluctantly accepted the leadership of Abu Bakr. When Abu Bakr was supposed to die, he called the people. He said he wanted to request for a favor, that Umar should be made the next caliph. Some of the members of the household of the Holy Prophet did not like it. In fact, according to a scholar, he said, are you trying to do trade by barter? They nominated you are now nominating him. But who could challenge Umar? Umar was made the leader. While the people of the house of the Holy Prophet Muhammad was expecting that Ali should be the leader. Then when Umar died, Umar constituted a committee. And in that committee, there were some influential companions there. Among the people, 10 people that Umar nominated was Usman, was Ali. So those ones decided to vote. How will they read out Ali? All of them said, okay, they stepped down for Usman. 8 people stepped down for Usman. It was Ali alone. So Usman became the leader, the caliph. So after becoming the caliph, he started putting, this is Islamic history, his Islamic members in position, including Muawiyah. Then the report started coming that I believe that Usman refused to do anything until when they saw that and they came back to kill him. Those same people, because when they made, after the 10 people, 8 of them said they stepped down for Usman. It remained Ali alone. Ali felt upset. He left Medina and decided to go and settle in Iraq. He left the city for them. And my government is also. He went to go and start another life in Iraq. He left Medina, he left Medina. So he left Arabia, he went to Iraq. And did not know that that's where the government is again. Because he felt that what they did was not justice. So after Usman had killed, those same people who killed Usman and some other people that they felt that they were just to Ali, they now went to Iraq to go and apologize and beg Ali that Ali should forget about everything, to forgive them, that now they are making him the guy. Ali gave them more conditions. He said he will accept, but he won't go back to Medina. That they will shift the headquarters of Islam, Caliphate of Islam. They will shift it, they will bring it from Medina to Iraq. So Iraq will now be the headquarters. What's the name of Iraq? Yes, Baghdad. There is one name that they use. Capital. Yes, capital of Islam. So since then, Iraq was the capital of Islam. As soon as they made Ali the caliph, Ali said that all the governors imposed by Osman should step down. He is constituting new governments. Some of them stepped down. Muawiyah refused to step down. he said he does not understand, he does not recognize the caliphate, the leadership, the appointment of Ali. Muawiyah is from Umayyah, a rival tribe, a rival clan to that of Ali, who was Banu Hashim. So that was not to led the civil war, and eventually some people came that they want to do reconciliation. So the reconciliation went wrong for some reasons of political smartness that favored Muawiyah. The leaders of the people said, this fight is too much. Because the fight was, I don't want to talk about it, one of the most severe fights was known as the Battle of Canada and Battle of Spain. Muslims died, thousands of Muslims died. Aisha supported Muawiyah and not Ali for some reasons. So after the whole thing, the Muslims felt, some Muslims, they came together. They believed that the trouble was too much. We should execute the two of them. We should execute the two of them. Those ones were the Kharijites. Okay, we should just execute Ali and execute Muawiyah. And informants going to deliver a message to Muawiyah. They will execute you tomorrow, really. Nobody went to Ali. So they succeeded in executing Ali. And Muawiyah that was not executed got the information, they captured those people, they killed them, and they have no rival again. So, but during the time of battle between Ali and Muawiyah, was okay, Muawiyah was also forming his people, forming his, yes. So, and before then, people like Abu Hurairah, Radiyallahu Ta'ala, was with Ali because they knew him to be the scholar of Hadith. Ali had no money. Muawiyah started paying people, giving out money, and bringing Hadith to do this. And Abu Hurairah left Ali to join Muawiyah. The followers of Ali since then did not recognize Abu Hurairah as a just person. So any hadith of Abu Hurairah is a lie, according to them. They are not accepting it. And that led to distortion in our theological belief, in our environment. So those of Muawiyah, they were using any hadith from Abu Hurairah. Anything Abu Hurairah should be rejected, was rejected in the party of Ali or Persia. So that was what led to difference in our beliefs. Everything we do as Sunni, we are the party of Muawiyah. Everything that we do is from the collection of Abu Hurairah. While everything related to Abu Hurairah was rejected by the party of Ali. So that led to different theological belief, different school of thought in fiqh. So that was why I said at the beginning that Sunni and Shia politics gave rise to them. Then under the schools of thought in the Sunni, after when it was stabilized, the Sunni, there are 4 schools of thought in Sunni. We have the Hanafi school, we have the Maliki school, we have the Shafi'i school, and we have the Hanbali school. So who was Abu Hanifa? How did his environment look like? Who were the people there? Abu Hanifa is from Persia, is from Iraq. The people of Iraq, they are not Arabs. They have their ways of doing things. Iran. So they had their ways of doing things. Abu Hanifa is from Iraq, not Iran. It's from Baghdad. Baghdad is in Iraq.
It's not Persian.
Pardon?
It's not Persian.
Yeah, it's
It's not Persian.
It's not a Persian. It's not a Persian, but it's from Iraq. So the people of Iraq, they had their ways of greetings. They were mostly racial like the Arabs. So that's reflected in their schools of thoughts. They favor rationalism more than extra facts because they are far from the seat of Hadith. Maliki, all his life was based in Medina. He did not accept rationalism. Whatever he must bring from the Hadith. And that Hadith must be from the people of Medina. Because the Prophet lived in Medina, he died in Medina, he left the companions in Medina. So those companions that remained in Medina was what Imam Maliki believed in. He believed in them to the extent that, okay, we have Hadith, we have practice. We have Hadith, we have practice. In summary, Imam Malik's position was based on Hadith and the practice of people of Medina. Shafi'i need to have his own, and Hanbali had. So all these four were known as the jurisprudential schools of thought. Mazahib Fiqhiyya. Then we have Mazahib Aqadiyya. The Mazahib Aqadiyya, those are the theological schools of thought. We have the Mu'tazila, we have the Ash'ariyya, we have the Jabariyya, we have the Qadariyya, and so on. So those ones too, they have their differences. But the one with the largest population happened to be the Ash'ariyya. Then lastly came the Wahhabiyya. That they have another name that is popular to me. So those ones too, they have their own theology that is different from before. Then lastly is the spirituality school of thoughts. That is where the Tasawwuf comes in. So we have people that are Naqshbandiyya, we have people that are Qadariyya. There is a difference between Qadariyya and Qadariyya. Qadariyya is a spirituality school of thought. Qadariyya is a theological school of thought. So these are things that appear to be set in Islam. Yes, these are the reasons for the differences. But what will unite you all is that Kitab wa Sunnah. When you follow the Quran and when you follow the Hadith, then you all will become united. So the spirituality school of thought, there were things that led to the differences. The awliya in different regions, the spirituality scholars in different regions, their style of azkar led to the differences. Their style of azkar led to the differences. Okay, the Qadariyya, they have their own. Those ones believe that one to do istighfar, it has to be 300. They have more azkar than the do. The Tijaniyya too falls under spirituality school of thought. Those ones believe, okay, the istighfar that you need to do in the morning should be 100. The Qadariyya believe that according to them, this is 300. So these are the two differences. Then which kind of salawat do you do? Because it's spirituality reminds us of their essential. It's istighfar, salat ala nabi, and la ilaha illallah. What's the function of istighfar? To melt your sins, to wash your sins. So because there is no way we can go into spirituality. You can become close to Allah and have a dirty mind. So your sin should be washed away first. Should be washed away first. So this is why it's essential. The second essential skill is salawat ala nabi. And what does that bring about? It brings about the love, mahabbat of Rasul, the love of the Prophet. And when you have true love of the Prophet Muhammad, Allah will love you in return. قل إن كنتم تحبون الله but then won't give you Allah. That is invisible. When you have true love for the Holy Prophet Muhammad, Allah will love you in return. And when Allah loves you in return, whatever asks you to do, then the third secret that you unite all of them is La ilaha illallah. What does that mean? Silatun baynana wal abid. It brings about spiritual connection between you and Allah. So those are the great things that we do. Every other thing is out.
Now, first of all, I would like to appreciate the historical background you gave us and the lecture, because there are spiritual takeaways which will give value for why I travel to this place. But sir, there is a reason why they give account of history. Now, we were not part of those people that invested their efforts, their own personal interest, national interest, clan interest, and this is a new generation. And we have other children that are upcoming. And I must tell you, from my own experience to today, I now find that it's deeply rooted in our life. What happened those times is really affecting even the growth or political growth of Islam in Nigeria to today. Even to the extent that it affected even marriage. There was a time in history when I was in school, I read about the way Arabians, they don't like it, they didn't like themselves, Arabs. In terms of the fact that they have one particular habit, even when they can trust a woman, they will say monitoring woman. I don't know maybe you can reach out to get what I'm talking about. So what I'm saying is that even in Nigeria today, is deeply suggested that it's creating a kind of division among Muslims. So my question is that as our ustads and our students, do you understand? Please, how can we save ourselves and the next generation from all these political sentiments that destroy the fabric of, the Muslims in this nation? Let me give you quickly one. Like now, I, for one person, when we are talking about something like Sokoto, yes, we believe that is a political seat. That's what we were programmed. Do you understand? And you are giving us a kind of history of why Ali wanted to choose Iran as a political seat. Now, all these years, we know that society is like the kingship in Yoruba land. When another person will come. But in the history in Nigeria, the political seat of that society in that it has been involved in the north. Is this a suicidal statement to say that why can't we have a kind of political seat shifting to the south or to the east? So that's my question.
Thank you so much, sir. First of all, you should understand that there is no solidarity in the southwest. Solidarity is only in the north, and there is reason for having solidarity. So it is the person that becomes the leadership that is appointed as the leader that becomes the sultan of solidarity. And the solidarity does not extend to southwest here. So, Sultan represents somebody that is in the position of Usman Danfodio. So, because Usman Danfodio, because of what he did the spread of Islam, he did not bring Islam to Nigeria. He met Islam in Nigeria. But he went into reviving Islam, rebranding Islam. People that were not practicing, that introduced shirk to Islam was the people that Usman Dan Fodio confronted. He did not kill Muslims. He did not kill Christians, as they were telling us. But at this time, no Christians in India. So he only fought against the practices of those Muslims, those so-called Muslims that had corrupt Islam, and he succeeded in doing that, and also promoting girls' education in Islam. So he did a lot, and after he had succeeded in achieving what he wanted to achieve, taking more territories from these people that call themselves Muslim leaders that were not practicing the right Islam. All those territories that he acquired became sultanates, and the person leading the sultanate is known as sultan, usually from the descendants of Usman Dan Fodio. Just as we know that the Oni of Ife has the household that will become Oni of Ife, they are not just going to bring somebody from Ibadan and make it Oni of Ife. The Alaafin Oyo, it has a particular household that will produce Alaafin of Oyo. You cannot go and bring somebody from Ijebu, that Ijebu is closer to Ibadan and make him Alaafin of Oyo. That is the same thing that is happening in the Sultanate, having Sultan. It has household. And it is not the constitution that says that the Sultan is the leader of all the Muslims in Nigeria. So, we are the ones, especially through the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, that we must have a leader. Okay, since we have an established Islamic system that is functioning, anybody that becomes the Sultan should be presented as the leader of the Muslims. Because we can't be a nation without having a leader. And they saw that this is a structured system, the only structured system. You don't have any other one that is structured. No one will be over. So that's when we have the only structured system, and it is powerful. So they decided that we want the Sultan to also be presented as the Sultan. So whatever he says, it's not just that must follow. But for the sake of leadership, he was as appointed. So I don't see anything that is wrong in that. So it is a structured system that everyone should be proud of. So that is.
Also spoke about pregnancies and all of that. You know, the talk of the business matter of business is especially in the context that I did take up to whatever consciousness is going to. I want you to speak to this in the context of two practices. What's paradoxes that happen? If I remember that this is the first one which is around is the one that the Renaissance where I say that where you use something, yes, that wipe it out and bring this executive without okay. You've had that. So you remember that's what was I think now the other one has to do with when you are committing and you are so successful, whether it's a or The Quran says, so you can see your role. And then my last comment is that I tend to see that be more aware and be more conscious you are. It does appear that you get tempted more. Whatever happens is going to be, I don't know which depth, but it's like awareness creates consciousness, and consciousness creates its own kind of there's one of the things that they call entropy or dissonance and restlessness. I don't know what
Thank you so much. Thank you for the enlightenment, especially the reminder that we fail to commit sin, allow this yourselves. Allow that God to commit sin. Even though that is exactly not maybe a particular verse. Allow that God to commit sins. But since we cannot avoid it. That's why there is provision for forgiveness, there is provision for pardon. So we should try as much as we can. As our doctor has said, it has to do with consciousness. How you are able to restrict from shaitan, satanic whispers and everything. So it is how strong you are that will make you to be able to avoid or perform some sins. And even according to Muhammad, if you was not able to avoid those sins, but what Allah did for him was that Allah gave him presidential pardon. That even before the one that you are yet to commit, we have already forgiven you. Inna fatahana laka fatiha mubina. ليغفر لك الله ما تقدم من ذنبك وما تأخر ويتم نعمته عليك ويهديك صراطا مستقيما. That's the sin that you committed and the one that you may commit in future, you have already pardoned you. So nobody is free from sins. So long as we are humans, we must commit sins. The only creatures that do not commit sins are the angels. لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم ويفعلون ما يؤمرون. So they are the only creatures that do not commit sins. But humans, we are bound to committing sins. Just that we should try as much as we can to avoid committing sins, to avoid oppressing other people. When you oppress other people, it's a big sin. So, for example, maybe I'm coming from a lecture now and they go, so that you okay, and I'm still in Surulere. It's still a sin. It's a sin. But these are minor sins, but there is nothing like Erosuno, like they tell us. No Erosuno. So lie is lie. But as Allah said, الَّذِينَ يَجْتَنِبُونَ كَبَائِرَ الْإِثْمِ وَالْفَوَاحِشَ إِلَّا اللَّمَمَ. Those people who avoid committing major sins. وَالْفَوَاحِشَ and offensive acts that are not good, except those sins that are avoidable, those minor sins that are avoidable. So there is an exception that there are some sins that are avoidable. For example, we are still talking now, enjoying the lecture, how we should do in mosque. So because this is 2:30, we should have prayed since 1 p.m. But because we are having an educative session, so prayers, we need to go and pray. So these are things that are not good. but because of the situation we find ourselves, so they fall under Ilalaman. So these are sins that are not at all. So the Quran has admitted that there are some sins that are not avoidable. But whatever the case, we should try as much. We should do our best. Our best to avoid committing sins. And now eventually commit sin, we should seek forgiveness. Allah also loves that we seek forgiveness. We are imperfect beings. So that is my own to that effect. And the doctors too, they commit sins. They won't treat you, instead they pay for you. And they will tell you that is the hospital rule. I just hospital rule. Okay, Islamically, they might go over everything, they might be removed, but they will tell you that is the sign.
I thank you for this session. I didn't know what to expect from this topic. I do understand that they are likely to be more predisposed to commit sins in very private places where others are not. We're not like others who really not care about what they do and where they do it. Most likely Muslims will commit sins in private. But most importantly, yes, I guess that we are here today to find a way to make ourselves more transparent so that our actions are moving closer to what Allah wants and moving away as far as quickly as possible away from those things we don't want. Because again, we are faced with a world that is constantly threatening us with the end of time. And we don't know when that will be. Tomorrow, a nuclear battle may not bring the world to an end, but we can kill most of us. I think that should come home any moment from now. I might not have enough time to do the required asana, all the goodness we really want to do to get something on our scale. So I guess it's timely for us to have had this discussion, and I'm very happy that we did. I have learned a lot from that, particularly worry about the browser and get leaner and leaner because there's not enough goodness. So how long, finally you gave us a lot of things we can start to do, 70,000, maybe we should start now. So that we find something useful when we are there and there is nobody to assist us. I know from experience that our parents will die, we say we'll never forget them. Months after, nobody says anything in their direction. I remember to put Allah for my parents almost every after each salat. But I doubt if anybody does that for everybody that has died. So eventually, no surprise that people get leaner and leaner in the grave. And then that quickly sent me back to the point that they will open some graves after 10 years and find some people looking like fresh. And I connected immediately to what you are saying. Then the goodness. Yes, we must seek after truth, but we must put forth a lot of good so that we have supplements right there in the grave. We can never do enough as apologies to Allah and then do enough goodness so that we can find something that will be beneficial to each and everyone. I thank you again for the beautiful session.
Alhamdulillah, we thank Allah for bringing us to the end of the session successfully. We ask Allah to beautify our needs, both in public and private. We ask Him to give us ihsan, that excellence that He talked about throughout the Prophet in every facet of our lives. Now, I think to conclude, we just quickly like to send information and also to encourage us as part of doing good deeds. We just use quickly a minute to just pray for former Amira of America, Sister Aisha Juma, who lost her father this last Friday. So we just quickly recite Qul Allah for her, 3 Qul Allahs. For her father. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul Allah ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Qul Allah ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Qul Allah ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. And in my life, so our prayers and may Allah also pardon our debt. May Allah preserve those of us who are alive and make us return to Him in the best of times. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا آتنا إلا ما خلقنا وهب لنا من لدنك رشدا. ربنا اغفر لنا ذنوبنا كبيرها وصغيرها جلها ودقها علمها ودقيقها سرها وعلانيتها يا أرحم الراحمين ويا رب العالمين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. For those of us who have been doing this for Jama Salat, for those of us who are just coming for the first night, so we can meet and also the registration about programs.
Are you out of it?